In the heart of Nabeul, a coastal city in northeastern Tunisia, a handful of artisans continue to keep alive a centuries-old tradition of mat weaving, a craft that once flourished in this region but is now on the brink of extinction. Nabeul, often called Al-Rabat or Al-Hasairia, was once known for its bustling mat weaving industry, where mats crafted from golden rush strands were a central part of daily life. However, today, the practice is fading, and only a few dedicated artisans are still weaving the intricate mats by hand.
This craft is entirely my roots. I am a Nabeul rush mat weaver. I love it even though it's tiring, even when there's no money. I love it when I stay here and work on pieces like this, and when someone prays on it, I am happy.
These mats, traditionally used in mosques, have been passed down through generations, each piece telling the story of the region's rich cultural heritage. One such artisan, Jalel Matmadi, has been weaving mats since he was 12 years old. His craft is deeply personal.
I started when I was 12 years old. What was I doing? I was learning to hold this rush, soft rush, and clean it from seeds, or I would purify the rush. I would separate the black ones to one side and the white ones to another side. Then I started working like this, learning little by little.
It connects him to his roots, to his city, and to his family's legacy. This craft is entirely my roots, he shares. I love it even though it's tiring. Even when there's no money, I love it. For Jalel, the work is more than just creating functional pieces. It's about preserving a tradition. He emphasizes the urgency of passing this knowledge on to younger generations, warning that without attention from both the youth and the government, this art will soon vanish.
This craft will disappear if young people and the government don't pay attention to it. I imagine in 5, 6, or 7 years it will vanish, die out. If the older craftspeople die, the craft dies. If I'm working now and no young people come to learn from me, for example, they won't learn the fundamentals of the work. If they learn it properly, they in turn can teach it to the next person, creating a chain so it doesn't disappear. If young people don't want to work and there's no encouragement for them, it will die.
If young people don't want to work and there's no encouragement for them, it will die, he says with concern.
There were thousands working with rush weaving in Nabeul, all of Nabeul with its women and men. Now if you count all the people who work, you'll find about 100 people, and of these 100, you'll find 50 or 60 are retirees.
The mat weaving process itself is labor-intensive and requires both skill and patience. Artisans harvest the soft rush plant, known locally as Juncus effusus, from the valleys. This plant is a critical part of the craft as its strands are used to weave mats and baskets.
We harvest the rush plant from the valley in summer. We go for 3 months or 2.5 months, starting in June. We harvest this plant while it's green, and after harvesting it green with a sickle, we cut it and spread it out like this.
The process begins in the summer when artisans go to the valleys and carefully harvest the rush while it's still green. The rush is then dried in the sun for weeks to achieve the golden hue prized for weaving.
This rush grows in the valleys just as you see it. Here's the valley water flowing. It grows by itself due to the rain. The more we harvest and clean the area, the more it grows, and the more we harvest and clean the place, the more it increases.
Ziad Chahedi, another artisan, describes the process in detail. We harvest this plant while it's green, and after harvesting it, we leave it for 21 days to yellow in the sun. After that, we flip it for another 10 days until it becomes yellow like gold. However, Ziad, who has worked in mat weaving since childhood, points out the alarming decline in the number of people working in the field today. There were thousands working with rush weaving in Nabeul, men and women, he says. Now, if you count all the people who work with rush, you'll find about 100 people, and of these, 50 or 60 are retirees. The younger generation, Ziad explains, is not as interested in continuing the craft. I do this work out of love because this is our country's history, he says, expressing both pride and sadness about the declining interest. But there is hope. Ziad's brother, Marwan Shalidi, is taking steps to preserve and modernize the tradition. While he continues to weave mats and baskets in the traditional manner, Marwan has also adapted the craft to meet contemporary tastes. Before, it was associated with only one thing: mats for praying or spreading in the house, Marwan explains. Now it's not just mats, it's bags, mirrors, chandeliers, and tables.
This work has a future horizon. Why? Before, it was associated with only one thing: mats that we pray on or spread in the house. Now it's no longer just represented by mats. It has become represented in the bags we carry, in the mirror we use, in the chandelier we use in the house, in the table where we place dishes.
He and his fellow artisans are striving to ensure the survival of their craft by finding new ways to adapt it to the changing demands of the market, while staying true to its roots. The work is also a family affair. For Ziad, mat weaving is deeply intertwined with his own childhood memories, where he grew up watching his father weave mats